Numbers don't lie.
Welcome to Numbers Don't Lie, folks. So, brand new segment. I had planned to do this last week with my, reaction episode to the Saints. And that was my first time doing these segments, and it wasn't planned out very well. And to add a little more context for those that are listening, I'm recording this all in one sitting as one flow. So even though it's broken up and I've got the little fillers in between, I'm recording it at once so that, I probably am going to say things crossing over between segments, but so that I stay in line. Today, I made me a little cheat sheet to know how to get through every segment. And that's what I'm doing right now, is going through the segments. So now, numbers don't lie. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. And now, before I get into the actual numbers, let's talk about your starting lineups, because we had another healthy scratch today for Terrace Marshall Jr. But on our side of the ball, we carried 4 wide receivers. That was expected with the conditions, with the monsoon, with the run the ball mentality coming into this game. As we talk about numbers, one of the things I talked about was running the ball. My goal was to get to 150 rushing yards. And I said, if we can get to that mark, we have a chance to win this game. We did not hit that mark, fell just short. I think around the 120, 130 mark. We'll look at it. But the Falcons, we held them in check outside of the one big play. The defense dominated this entire day. But numbers don't lie. Starting on lineup, we had Mingo, Thielen, Trimble, Icky, Mays, Bozeman, Jensen, Moten, Chark, Young, Hubbard. I think Mike K tweeted out that Nash Jensen, when the Panthers and Nash Jensen plays for the Panthers, undefeated, 2 wins. So we'll take that one in the books. On the defense side of the ball, you have YGM, Itor Gross-Matos, Williams, Shuttle, Brown, Burns, Luvu, Gruger Hill, Horn, Jackson, Woods, Bell. I am going to be plugging in my 2 growls and 1 roar at the later end of this episode. But I have to say, please go out and vote for Derek Brown for the Pro Bowl. He is having a Pro Bowl all-pro season. It's getting buried away by our record, which is, that's going to happen when your team is terrible. But go vote for him. You can retweet. You can actually go out and vote. Make sure you do that. Healthy scratches, I should say. And I got to put on my glasses. I'm getting old, man. Sorry, y'all. I try to not wear them as much because of the blue blocking that shows up. I got to do it. Jameson, cornerback, Leoto, Sharp, Ian Thomas was out. We saw him popping up on the injury report. Strachan and Terrace Marshall Jr. It seems like Terrace's time in the Carolinas is done. It's very unfortunate, second round pick that has not panned out. I've talked about it a little bit, but new staff or not, if I'm him, I'm finding a way to get out next year. And I hope whoever's in the front office, grants him that courtesy to just get a fresh start, new look, and reboot his career. Scoring wise, because that is part of this game, 1 touchdown was scored this entire game, 7 points by the Atlanta Falcons. They came in the second quarter. Then the Carolina Panthers strung together 3 field goals. And why wouldn't that happen when you have Chris Tabor leading this team? 3 points, 6 points, and of course the 9 points to win the game. I'm going to talk about the breakdown here in just a little bit as far as my questioning some of the decision-making at the end that did work out. But your final box score, Chuba Hubbard, leading rusher for both teams, 22 attempts, 87 yards, 4 yards per carry. Amir Smith-Marset, some of the jet sweep motions. There was one where he ran inside. I was not a fan of that. But outside of that, 4 carries, 31 yards, 7.8 yard average. I've talked about getting him involved in the team in this game, involved with the offense, and we got to see that a little bit today. And that was expected with the limited availability at wide receiver. With only carrying 4, you knew he was going to get an opportunity to show his skill set. Good old Bryce Young, his scrambling out there, 4 for 9, came up in some key situations with scrambling. Bad day for Miles Sanders. I don't know. I've started to kind of talk about some of the offseason stuff, if you follow me on X, about like what do the Panthers do with him? If there is a trade opportunity, maybe that's where he goes or how you get him out. But he seems like he's going to be here at least for another year. So it doesn't make sense financially for us to go ahead and part ways unless we can find a trade partner that wants to take him on. Bryce Young, not, off the chart day, but considering the conditions, I'll take it. 18-24, 167 yards. That final drive, and see, as I talk about bleeding over into episodes, that's more of my breakdown. But that final drive, man, wow. I called it before the drive happened. I said, this drive is Texans-esque. If you remember the Texans game, the really long drive, where we can convert the field goal at the end of the game to win. It was the same exact scheme with the penalty, with the big plays that happened. I mean, off the charts, great job, or should I say off the chart? Get in there. Receiving wise, Adam Thielen, leading receiver for targets and yards, 4 receptions, pretty quiet day for 43 yards, big catches by him. Same thing with Mingo, 4 for 32, continued production. Is yet to score that touchdown, but hopefully we got 3 games to go. We see him get in the end zone. Good play from Tommy Trimble, 2 for 32. Hubbard coming alive as well, 2 for 16. And Miles Sanders, 2 for 11. Chark did have 1 catch for 18 yards, and what a play that was, as well as Sullivan. Big plays by him. Interceptions on our side of the ball. Xavier Woods with the interception. It was a clean day for us. We did have the fumble, but we recovered it. They had a few fumbles on their side that they were able to get, but overall, no major complaints. Pretty clean day considering the conditions. Like, I would have expected probably a few more turnovers for both teams than what we ended up seeing across the board. The one where Bryce was hit and he was able to actually get back on the ball was just critical. We know that the Falcons gave up the fumble, man, hitting Bijan Robinson, getting the ball in prime field position. And again, I kind of talk about bleeding between segments with the breakdown and kind of going into it. But when that fumble occurred and we're driving there, you needed a touchdown. You knew you're so close, you got to convert that. And for us to not make a decision to go for it on 4th down, I know he's a special teams coach and he believes in the special teams, but somebody's got to page in him and say, hey, man, our defense has been shutting them down today. Let's go for it, because worst case scenario, you give them the ball on the 4 or 5 yard line. With the way our defense is playing, it's better. And I know at the end, when all this shakes out, it all worked out. But that is one thing that I was like, man, Chris Tabor, I know you're special teams and you love your guys, but please, can we see something? Can we get a touchdown out of this? But great day all around. Looking at, and we also know Amir Smith-Marset had the fumble on, or dropped the punt. He was able to recover that as well. Now looking at some of the team stats here, 63 plays for the Panthers, 51 for the Falcons, 283 total yards. And we held the Falcons to 204 yards, 4.5 yards a play for us, 154 yards passing. Bryce did get sacked 3 times, but again, considering, the nature of the game today and where we were, I was pleased. And the rushing attack is really what set us apart. Winning that battle, 129 yards to their 52. You couldn't have asked for a better day. They averaged 1.7 yards per rush, 3.6. The defense dominated inside. Both teams had 4 penalties. But the turnovers, it was as bad as the conditions were, the turnovers were a key reason that we were able to win, or I should say a lack of turnovers on our end and 14 turnovers on their side of the ball. One thing that I don't really touch on is defensive stats. Let me go back to the defensive box score here. Algier was their leading rusher, 14 carries, 45 yards. Man, Robinson had 7 for 11. Smith had the one big play, the tight end for the Falcons. That was it, though. Kyle Pitts, few big plays. London, I know Pitts, there was one play where he caught the ball, fought for the yardage to get the first down, looked pretty good doing that. The Falcons team, when you talk about comparing Panthers, Falcons, they have so many offensive weapons on that side of the ball. And you compare it to what we have, and it is like light years away, but they don't have a quarterback who can distribute the ball and get it into their hands. And I don't know what the future of the Falcons looks like. I know I hinted a little bit about Justin Fields, but Frankie Louvu, 10 tackles. J.C. Horn, another good day for him, 6. Yetur Gross-Matos, good day for him as well, 6. And we know J.C. and Yetur both had tackles for loss. Nick Thurman with 5, Derek Brown with 5. Troy Hill, Dante Jackson, Xavier Woods, good days. Brian Burns, not big in the stat sheet, but man, there was one play where he reaches up and it looks like he was, if he had put both hands up, he could have intercepted it and had a pick 6 there. Great day for the team. We had the one interception by Woods. Talked about Amir Smith-Marset and good old Eddie Pinheiro, 3 for 3. That's all we needed, 3 points each time. Johnny Hecker, also reliable punter, doing what he has to do. All right, it's time to get into the Carolina Dad Breakdown.